Hey, today I'll be answering a question from one of our subscribers who said, man, I get a lot of questions and objections from weight loss clients when I meet them offline. And let's get into it. So, the very first thing is very, very important that where you're getting the prospect from, because that actually gives a context to the rest of the interaction that you're going to be having with them. And if you're getting them from an offline source or if you're getting them from a reference, then you got to first and foremost you got to screen them. Are they which segment of the prospect spectrum they are from? Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Competition aware? What is it? All right, and only after that you will get a very good you'll get a very good sense of where they are in their understanding and how to take the conversation forward. Also, in this particular video, I'm going to be giving you some judgment calls on what I think are the scenarios that are working in the healthcare marketing or wellness marketing market, because I have 1500 paid students and I work with them. Almost 40-50% of them are health coaches working with some kind of wellness product also. So whether you're selling health coaching as a service or whether you're selling a health product, which could be a wellness product, then I can, whatever I have learned over the last probably 20 years of being in this market, I'll just quickly share with you. I myself was a big failure in the market for the first few years, and then when I started working with different mentors who said, hey, you need to start charging for your consultation, that's when I started understanding the value that needs to be in myself. I started re-educating myself and understanding a lot of the concepts that I'm going to share in this video. So let's get started. My name is Dr. Rajat Sinha. I'm a medical doctor turned sales specialist. My first business that I started when I was still in college was a wellness product. So I was selling wellness products through network marketing, and later on I was able to go into paid consultation, Silicon Valley, and that's where I realized that charging for the time that you spend with a prospect is one of the easiest ways of not only qualifying the prospect but setting the context for the meeting. However, if you're meeting a prospect in the offline forum, especially if they're a friend, relative, or a reference, that may not be possible in all cases. So assuming that you meet the prospect in a uncontrolled scenario, they already know you. When they come to your house, there is no way to have borders or boundaries around that meeting. You don't have that level of control. Then it's very important that your knowledge level should be extremely high, and it should be lateral and 360-degree in the industry. I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas. Okay, now before we go ahead, one of the most important things that works in the industry is entertainment. Okay, people who are going out looking for a solution to their problem, they don't want it to be boring. They don't want to hear the things they already know about. They don't want to be questioned on what they have already tried and it has failed. In fact, you need to understand that they're coming with a lot of embedded probably anger, disbelief, and personal shame that they haven't been able to get the results even though they tried. So while you're screening them, whether they're problem aware, they are solution aware, or competition aware, that's the first thing you need to understand. What is the level of embedded inner disbelief and shame and anger that they may be coming with, because they've already been on that journey and they've not got the results. And the way to open that psychological state is by providing entertainment. Okay, entertainment. By entertainment, I mean that you should be providing information and angles of looking at the problem they haven't thought of before, and that the industry doesn't usually talk about, because the whole industry is hell-bent around this caloric value equation, which is you need to do dieting, and you need to kind of take a control of your diet, and you need to at some point you need to do some exercise in order to drop the weight. That is one particular theory. It's a boring theory. It is not even the most efficient theory, but since a lot of the products are being sold around that theory, which is weight loss products and things like that, then everybody in the marketplace is being taught this old bullshit boring theory. Okay, there are many different ways in which you can attack the problem, and you got to provide this knowledge that I'm going to give to you in an entertaining fashion. Plus you need to re-educate yourself very deeply around all of these things, so that you can be super adept at least handling questions and objections, because if you show up as an authority, there will be that less of questions and objections. Now, the first order of a sales call when a person comes to meet you is the moment you're able to open their barriers and get inside with some of the ideas and entertainment you can provide, you need to ask them to make an investment, which could not be in your product if you're selling vitamins or weight loss products, but to ask them to make an investment in you, which is spend some time with you to go deeper into the problem. If they're going to pay money to go deeper into the problem, then they are proving themselves to be the right prospect. Till that time, it's all song and dance and everybody's time is getting wasted. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to share my screen. What are the three things, even if you're following the caloric loss theory? I hear a lot of people talking about the diet, exercise, and my product is the best, and my company is the best, and all of that. But the moment I ask them about what is Krebs ATP cycle, can you explain to me? They have no clue. The moment I ask them about what is glycemic index versus glycemic load, they have no clue. And the moment I ask them about what is the muscle mass cycle, they have no clue. All of these three different things have to do with your caloric loss theory, which is if you have a caloric deficit in your overall day versus what your metabolic rate demands, then you're going to lose weight. It's caloric deficit theory. And some of the sub theories you need to understand is how does ATP cycle work, what is glycemic index versus load, what is the muscle mass cycle, because all of these things have to do with the caloric loss theory. If you don't know about these terms and if these terms are Greek to you, then you need to study a little more. Please search around on the internet. Okay. Next comes to other theories that I want you to be knowledgeable about. I just want to let you know that we teach about all of these theories in our transcendence program. So I just want to be upfront and let you know that when I'm giving you these hooks, if you're very, very interested, you should definitely get in touch with us, and we are the best place that can teach you this. But having kept that aside, I want to give you too much value in this particular video. So I'm going to open up your brains, and you can find more information on all these topics on the internet itself. Okay. So let's go into caloric theory. That's the first theory that you are working with a person, and the least you should have is a weight loss projection. How much of caloric deficit leads to how much weight loss? You should have a projection for every single person, and you can sell via future pacing. Okay, if you can sell the future pacing, then objections will not matter. Next, something called the muscle growth theory. You should study on this, and you should have some understanding of how much does nutritional protein affect muscle mass and how does it affect metabolic rate. There should be some calculations handy, because once you're able to show calculations, doubts, objections, and fears will evaporate automatically, simply under the weight of your education which you're providing in the form of entertainment. Okay. Next, you have electron theory. Okay. Electron theory has to do with antioxidation, and how do you search or how do you measure some kind of antioxidation? Antioxidation inside the body cannot be measured, but at least the material that is going inside the body in the form of diet and water or whatever it is can be measured, and it can be tracked for weight loss. You can do some exercises with yourself and your family members, and you can figure out how much of antioxidation leads to how much of weight loss. Very, very simple. Hey, by the way, I hope you're liking this video. I'm providing a lot of education in the form of entertainment. So I'm not beating around the same crappy objection handling stuff, for which I've already made probably 5-10 videos before. I'm not addressing your problem directly. What is objection handling? I'm I'm opening up your brain to accommodate more education in the form of entertainment. And once you master these things, objections you will not get. Objection handling is one thing. Objection prevention is one thing. A lot of health coaches create objections because they're talking the same boring, drab language that the person has already seen on the internet, already heard from other dietitians and coaches, and they've already been through that cycle and they've not got the results. Okay, so if I were to answer your question by providing you the same objection handling techniques, they probably not work for you. So I'm expanding your vista by providing you this education in the form of entertainment. I hope you like this approach. Okay, please subscribe to this channel, hit that bell icon, and give me a comment below if this is adding value to you. All right. Next, you've got electron theory, antioxidation, weight loss. Next, you have pH theory. How much do you maintain the pH or acidosis versus alkalosis in your body, and how does that affect blood sugar, weight loss, things like that? Okay, please do a study on that, and it's very, very simple to actually measure using a marker called blood sugar, because blood sugar fluctuates on a daily basis. Weight loss is a little more difficult to track, but blood sugar is very simple to track, and using alkalinity, alkaline acidotic balance, you can really get lots of good examples and tracking around this. And when you show that tracking to your prospect, they're going to be blown away, guaranteed. There will be no objections. Next, you have hormonal theory. How do hormones affect metabolic rate? Okay, very, very important. Also, there is a difference between dieting and fasting, and it has all to do with the hormones. Okay, how do you cut diet? That has a different effect on hormones, versus if you do fasting, it has a different effect on hormones. What is the difference between dieting and fasting? How does it affect weight loss? How fast does it act? What are the different results between dieting and fasting? You should be studying around this, and the first person you should be doing the experiment is around yourself. Please do the experiment on yourself, take some photos, do some different programs, follow the journey, create videos around this, educate people in your Facebook group or any kind of digital media, so that you have a lot of video content available. You have a lot of different content available in the form of entertainment that you can show prospects. Remember, if you have 52 cards in your hand and your prospect has only 2 cards in the hand, no amount of objection will matter because they've got only 2 cards and you got 52 cards. Okay, have more cards and rig the game in your favor. Okay, next, so you've got hormonal theory. Next, you've got emotional states theory, very, very important. Emotional states theory. Emotional state can be numerically tracked very, very easily in the form of a 30-day, 60-day challenge. And you should use a tracker, an emotional state numerical tracking, and track the weight loss and weight gain and tie it to emotional states. No amount of diet and exercise is going to help this prospect if their emotional state is in a mental stress or because of certain things that are happening in their life. But you can run some practices on your existing clients or on your existing self or your family members and do this tracking so you understand what is the effect of emotional states on weight loss or weight gain. Very important. All right. Is this the last one? I think this is the last one. Okay, cool. Okay, so I've given you 6 forms of new information that you should educate yourself on, which is caloric theory, you already know. Muscle growth theory, how do you track protein intake with metabolic rate. You got electron theory, pH theory, hormonal theory, and emotional states theory. All right, if you are still want to go a little more deeper into caloric theory, please study ATP Krebs cycle, glycemic index versus glycemic load, and muscle mass cycle, so that you can understand little more talking points. See, at the end, the solutions to most problems are simple. You may still be giving them diet, exercise, or a nutritional supplement like a weight loss supplement or meal replacement therapy or something like that. You could be doing that. That's fine. It'll get the result. But to get the prospect sold on that modality, you need to take them through lots of different forms of thought. And once they trust you, charge them a little bit of money to do a personalized assessment. And it's only when they trust you and they pay for that trust that their belief level will hit sky high, and then you can bring in all your routine. Even if you're doing diet, exercise or something, you can bring the same old solutions into the game, and they're going to work better because the prospect now has belief. There is a way to craft belief in the minds of the prospect. Okay, that's by bringing them in through entertainment. Okay, making them commit through a small payment. The payment cannot be tied to a back-end product or your network marketing health product or something. Okay, and then spending time with them to skyrocket that trust, and so that you can bring in, probably if you know only one solution that works, you can bring in that one solution. But by this time, you're giving them a guarantee. They have the trust in you. They have the belief. It is belief that cures a patient. The doctor is only the medium. That's what we learned in medical science when I was doing MBBS. Okay, it is belief. The first job that you have is to raise belief, and you raise belief by having more cards in your hand for discussion and understanding more about the health journey than they do for themselves. All right, if you're not at this position right now, then educate yourself. I would recommend that. Okay, I hope this video was useful. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Leave me a comment on whether it was useful or not. If you want to ask a follow-on question, let me know and I'll come back with you and make a different video for you. All right, look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.